Eru. Ok. Tenho voz. O jogo está cá. Tem som. Bora lá então.
You should return to the boardwalk now that the body has been taken away. There's something you need to see. A little something that your visual cortex has put together while you were away. Oh no, it's one of those show, don't tell things, isn't it? You can just stop by whenever you're close. It should be quick enough.
The fuck? Ok. Estava aqui a caminhar pela cidade e a lógica do meu boneco simplesmente diz: "Ah, Estás a ver aquele sítio? Devias voltar lá. Enquanto não tiveste cá, o teu cérebro montou lá uma coisa que vais achar interessante." E eu fiquei mesmo: What? O jogo agora até. Isto nem é assim tão importante, mas o jogo agora até me diz onde ir. Este jogo não sei se está feito para burros, é a palavra certa. Acho que este jogo tem mesmo. É muito complexo mesmo. Mas pronto. Claro.
The cold sea breeze stings your face as you step on the boardwalk. The body is gone. But something still lingers in the luminous wheel of pleasure, and all things bright. Its wooden frame creaking in the wind. 12 red cabins form a circle that stretches from the engine below to the flocks of seagulls up in the sky.
What are you looking at?
This must be the pleasure wheel that Trent Heidelstein told you about. The little wooden gondolas dangle in the wind, their seats empty and floors littered with old ice cream papers and discarded tickets. A seabird has made a nest in one of the cabins, but even this looks abandoned. A remnant from a spring some 50... The pleasure wheel stands still on the boardwalk, its 12 red cabins suspended in the air. There's a ticket office made out of an old gondola, its wooden frame the same shade of red as the ones above. A sign mounted on its side declares, there are hustlers, addicts, rag and bone merchants, even entire families, if they're particularly destitute, who've turned these cabins into huts and homes in the pleasure wheel stands still on the boardwalk, its 12 red cabins suspended in the air.
The one that Mr. Hiddleston mentioned? What is going on with you, detective?
Nothing's going on with you. Everything is perfectly fine. We're just here to look at the pleasure wheel.
Well, here's the secret. I've never been on an amusement ride. There used to be one in Kuran, a small one, when I was a kid. I was always too small to be allowed on board. The harness didn't work. And by the time I was finally tall enough, the wheel had fallen apart. We should get going. It's getting cold.
The pleasure wheel stands still on the boardwalk, its 12 red cabins suspended.
The one that Mr. Hiddleston mentioned? See what?
Nothing's going on with you.
Mr. Méjean? Perhaps not fun, but I do think he was trying to make... But I don't think standing here in the cold is doing you or me any good.
The pleasure wheel stands still on the boardwalk. Some waves come crashing against the boardwalk. There's some tear, an empty cigarette pack, 2 empty bottles of... No.
A tragedy.
Whoever took Red Astra is the black... You see traces of May. It's no older than... It's hard to concentrate in the smell. The sea air... The light vanishes inside the concrete slit. The structure goes deep under the earth. Maybe it's just a storm drain for the sewer. There's no echo, and no one.
No idea. Could be connected to one of the buildings around here. We might find her down somewhere. There's an old storm drain system beneath Martinez that's mostly collapsed. Revachol sewage system has been built and rebuilt for... In conclusion, she could be under any building. I hope not.
Morel's trap stands empty, just like the boathouse. The locusts, dazed from being transported, slowly begin to acclimate. They're not really going to get the chance to get comfortable.
Good. Now that's done. When do you think we will Don't answer that. It was a
Hello, hello. A transceiver, is it? Yeah.
He produces a machine encased in a blue bakelite shell. The lieutenant whistles.
A genuine crystal sprach. This is a connoisseur's model.
The Model 9 also comes equipped with a signal purifier to suppress crosstalk.
In other words, it'll put even the lieutenant's beloved Dynawave to shame.
Well, it's not that Ilmaran surplus junk, that's for sure. We think 120 real is more than reasonable. You'll be back again. For the moment, yes. You'll be back again. I've got a feeling.
The once bright mural towers above you, saying, Feld Electrical. The once bright mural towers above you, saying, Feld Electrical, R&D. Tomorrow.
Right to work!
Hell no. I'm just an honest skeptic.
It just has to be said, that was not a convincing line.
Fucking loincloth.
Loincloth? Now you see, that's not really what a scab would say, is it? Better not to press that issue further, sire. He seems tense.
Fucking mom.
A punch is not imminent. You hear a tiny rattle. A small raid. I'm going to interpret that as a yes. There's a
How about you fuck off now?
Okay, of course.
The man's breathing steadies, but his eye...
Hello, dear. Thank you for doing that, dear. Morel still isn't feeling well. I convinced him to stay at Gary's to get some rest. I'm afraid the cold has really gotten to him. Yes, field work is a young...
Her voice is shaky. What is going on here?
Morel will eventually, or we'll talk Gary into going...
The lieutenant stares at his shoe, caked in mud. He doesn't say anything.
That really is too much, sweetie. Thank you for...
Very strange. Why is she not letting you do this? It's like she's given up.
Different? How?
Answering a question with a question, for example. Defensive isn't her usual style.
I'm in doubt, sweetie. It's, a stress. Do you ever wonder if some lovely story from your childhood...
Hunching her shoulders now. She seems even smaller than she is.
Seeing the Insulindian phasmid was just a story I used to tell people. I didn't... He's so proud of it. He always tells everyone. No, at least I don't think I did. That I'm some queen of the cryptozoologists. But now we're both getting old and he's still working himself sick out in those reeds looking for it.
The lieutenant opens his notebook, but doesn't write anything. An acorn is not the same as the tree. That requires time, diligence, and care. All qualities these two seem to share in abundance.
But it is. We've spent years searching for the phasmid, hunting it together. Without it, if I hadn't led him down this path, he...
You know, this reminds you of the Pericarnassian theory of love. In essence, love is a relay out of death. Generation by generation, our love remains in our progeny. Lay some of that on her.
Oh, sweetie, I don't think the Pericarnassians were thinking of people in my situation. I was a paraplegic before we met. He didn't know before I arrived. On our first date.
She has to swallow to relax her throat. It's keeping her from talking.
Maybe. But then why do I not dare tell him? I've wasted enough of your time with this drama. What you have to know is the Insulindian phasmid probably does not exist.
Are there? Some of the other things are pretty bad.
I'm not sure of anything. Sometimes I still see it, you know. Either way, I should go. Poor Morel is running a fever and I need to get him home to Jamrock before we overstay our welcome with Gary. Oh no, thank you, but I can get there on my own. This old thing is gas-powered. And then a taxi home. It's not so bad.
Really?
Oh, sweetie. Please don't get stuck on a dream. Take it from me and Morel. Okay, it's 1113 Tabernacle Road, Jamrock, but... You too, sweetie. Thank you for everything, truly.
A waste of time. A lie. A fool's hope. Say like that. She drives off. The gas engine sputters quietly, as she gets to the doors, then pushes them open. Outside, it's
We should go to.
somewhere out there, a kilometer to the southeast. A gust of wind shakes the felled building, rattling dusty windows. The door is closed again. You hear someone inside, walking from room to. The door is. You hear.
Hola, wandering man. How can I help you? The mercenary, eh? Who could have killed? That's so. I haven't heard anything about that. But if that's true, well, he was an enemy combatant. He was an agent of the opposition. I ain't the
He believes the heart.
Understood. This.
No problem. I wish.
A common office radio, like any of those found in countless waiting rooms, lounges, and others.
There's usually a little switch somewhere. Ah, yes. It's the one that says release.
The lock disengages with a nice click. You may now safely remove the transceiver unit. There's nothing obviously remarkable about it. If this transceiver were a person, it would be an accountant at a large logistics firm. Perfectly competent, but unexceptional.
I'm sure the transceiver understands, Detective.
It's true. The transceiver appears quite forgiving.
You've surprised me more than once during the course of our investigation. But I have to say, it still seems like a remote scenario. It doesn't, frankly. Don't get me wrong. This appears to be a fine transceiver for a general audience. But it's not something a serious radiohead would use. Show me what, Detective?
With its transceiver.
Mr. Dubois, the word in Martinez is a certain police officer. I prefer my police officers old-fashioned like that, with a gun. You can do so many things with... My. She's quite the looker, Harry. Tell me, was it difficult to convince the pigs to give it up? I knew you could handle it. I know my special policeman. Anyway, I'm glad you're all right and armed again, Harry. Now, what can Everett Clare do for you? Fanny?
Funny. She was trying to set up a narcotics operation.
Oh, that a Sal. Yes, I do seem to remember sending a pretty young thing down there to liven up the place. Get some melodic music in there. Amphetamine lab? That sounds very but what do I know about kids these days? The music they listen to, the drugs they do, what...
It sounds to me like you are trying to start an amphetamine lab in the district. And you're using some delinquents you found, God knows
Found God knows where? That Acel is the daughter of Miko the Kebab, a man who once killed a guy with a kebab. I think a daughter of a man who killed a man with a kebab can handle running a little nightclub. Maybe it was Bogovir. Or Jakub. I think it might have been Conrad. A nightclub? Harry, I'm an old-fashioned guy. After work, I like to listen to some rock and roll music and have a non-alcoholic lager. But here I am, talking about myself, when you have much more important things going on. Tell me, Harry, how can I help you? I'm always happy to educate and entertain you. Very nice. Most certainly, Harry. By all means, Harry. What great! You want to bounce something off your... It's perfectly okay.
You cannot but notice the prospect of you telling Joyce about your conversations is actually pleasing.
No, Harry. I'm perfectly neutral and 100% for transparency. I know people say a lot of...
Yes, he really...
Absolutely, Harry. What's on...
Yes, what is it?
You don't have to. You already have. A long time ago. These thoughts formed in you somewhere, in a long-forgotten discussion, behind a...
What? But Pale isn't here. We're thousands of kilometers from the edge.
She looks up into the darkness. You have her full, undivided at the lieutenant's, too. He takes his glasses off.
Then what?
It's nothing. No, it's less than nothing. No.
Then the Pale is... But the gradient, it clearly hasn't started yet. We're here and the Pale is not. I understand. A theory of the Pale where instead of an outer ocean, it metastasizes. Like a cancer or a mold. Erupting in points inside the world. According to this, how long... And information. Causing data losses in the East Insulindian front. Have you considered why it's formed in a church? And
I also have a question, since we are piling them on. How do you know this? I'm not doubting you. I'm simply curious as to how a detective of the RCM. An amateur anthropomedic police officer. I'd like to say I've heard stranger things, but I'm not sure. This is a hell of a guess, however.
yes, it is very interesting. But I wouldn't say you know. This is a guess. One that's going to have to be proved by anthroponetic scientists. Of course! A pinewood sarcophagus! Or a containment facility of some kind, built by the first settlers. I have considered the same. The bad news is there were 7 pine. Most of them were burnt down during the revolution or repurposed before.
Some of them might. A black grain hanging in the air.
You think the presence of that puncture has somehow influenced the outcome of events here? Even say software development? I told the producers we need to go and move to a normal office building with amenities. But no, the artists like the milieu, the writers like the history. I told them. You mean Plaisance and the Dice Maker? There was almost no one left when we packed up. Then go tell her.
She falls silent. The wind blows in through the hole in the stained glass window. Cold.
I'm going to leave that out. But the rest? Some of this I can use to start to explain this to the rest of the team.
Ma'am, you will certainly.
One more thing. Maybe a club for anodic music isn't the worst thing you can erect around this particular point in space.
Yeah! Once the light is on in the universe!
Thank you, Egghead. Let's leave it at that, shall we? We have an anthropomedic detection to perform in this district.
The creepy woman! We were wondering about that when we worked there. It must be anthroponetic crosstalk, the one you get in radios and long-distance calls. Now it makes...
Incredible. This would also explain why we get it on the police radio all the time.
It's quite common, actually. When the signal gets routed through Pale, all kinds of irregularities take place. You may hear snippets of someone else's conversation. Pale is a shroud of memories, and it doesn't really distinguish to whom those memories belong to. You could hear it anytime. Yes, what is it?
Yo, man. So your cop ways came through again. Impressive. Let's see what you got. An ordinary white-collar transceiver joins the hardcore underground.
A nice story to tell himself. But don't forget, it really is.
All right, Lawfarer. We're ready to do this. I have to warn you, though. Once we commit, there's... So any cop prep you gotta do, you do it now. We'll wait if we have to. How should I know? It's up to everyone to know their own needs.
At the very least, you should make sure you're wearing a good pair of gloves.
Personally, I'm gonna make sure I've got a steady supply of prep. Don't sweat that. Egg found something down near the waterlock.
That maniac is obviously you, which makes the power source your half-sunken Caprice 40.
That explains why it was covered in cop colours. Whole thing's totaled. All I have to do is run a cable from the engine up the Centaur Man's Memorial. It won't do what you have to do. Hardcore charge! Like Egg said. Yo, man. What's on your mind? Rest of the crew has got to stay here. Can't afford to let the beat drop right.
Much love to my hardcore antenna!
Good luck, guys.
Try to squeeze in a promo spot while you're on air. We've got to start putting the word out.
Back across the waterlock. At least we are getting...
You can grab that amplifier, officer. And you start spooling up those cables. Maybe we can get it all in one go.
Ok, o que será que isto vai fazer para a gente? Ah, pois, porque a gente vai usar a cena estátua como antena, tínhamos esquecido.
Just plug that in there, would ya?
It's done. I believe we are ready.
Yeah, as ready as we're gonna be. Grab one of these can sets, both of ya. I've got it rigged so we can all listen, but only your cop talk will... No idea what we're gonna hear when I turn this thing on, so be prepared for anything. Trick is to keep transmitting your request until the big bad acknowledges ya. You got that? Honestly, that might be for the best. Like I said, the sign's coming off this. Don't know how much juice we've got, so we better get to it. You ready? Good. We're live. That's your cue, lawman.
Is there anybody there? The lieutenant looks up at you, nervous. For who, though?
Give it another go.
Perhaps you're simply imagining it, but it seems as though you're learning to pull apart the fibers of this auditory felt.
Nein, Liebling, das lasse ich nicht zu. Wie kannst du unseren Jungen bloß auf einen dieser Dinger nach Bredeform... Marianne, mir erzählt, dass Oscar nicht mehr, seit auf einem Luftschiff...
Something about her son going to Vredefort on an aerostatic to see some psychologists. Or maybe the psychologists are saying it's normal to have feelings for strangers. Foreign languages were never your strong suit.
Liebling,
keep trying. We'll get through these raids. Again.
It's gone now.
I didn't say anything, Detective.
Someone has been maintaining it. The wiring has been repaired.
An uncomfortable silence.
It's been a long winter. Long and cold.
I promise you I didn't, even though it certainly sounds like me.
So your partner's haunting himself, trying to walk...
It's eerie for certain, but also harmless. I just wish I could...
Natürlich halten ihn die Psychologen für vollkommen normal.
No can do. This is it. The only way forward is the hardcore way. Straight...
But someone has been maintaining it. The wiring has been repaired.
Dubois, please acknowledge. Liebling, bitte. Ist unser einziges Kind. Where's the bastard?
The signals are getting increasingly mixed. Plucking Archer's signal from this will be like isolating a single strand from a tangle of hair.
This isn't looking good. The radio spookers are winning. Don't know. If we can't get around the interference, we're in deep trouble. Says here, main step, volume to... My guess, you climb up the Centaur, man. See if there's any...
This isn't exactly...
Someone has been maintaining it.
Something about this setup seems dimly familiar. But you'll be damned if you know what you're supposed to do about it.
It's gotta be you. I'm manning the decks down here. Maybe you break an arm, maybe you break... But that's what the invalids found.
gloves give you a solid grip on the metal bar. You don't exactly cut a lithesome figure, but after several moments of scrambling, you manage to hoist yourself atop the monument. That performance was frankly an embarrassment. The connection itself is nothing more than a little braid of exposed wire wrapped about the hoof of the horse. A copper fetter it cannot slip. The whole monument is covered in a thin but durable layer of oil and grime. If you had something alcoholic,
Well, what's it look like? That's not good. We should have cleaned this. Hang on. I'm looking at Egg's checklist. He says, if all fails, bend antenna. Narrow is the hardcore way. That make any sense? It says here, muscle style. Good question. Maybe he's saying, since you're already up there.
the speed freak is right. The responsibility is yours and yours alone. There's no turning back now. You are face to face with Philip III, not intentionally. It's a matter of perspective. The king was never meant to be seen from such an angle as you've attained. This faithful steed is in nearly as poor a condition. The sky is grey. Through the scrim, you can just make out the shadow of Coalition warship Archer a few kilometers to the east. A few of the idle, she yells a single word you can't make out, and then shuts the window with a violent thunk. You allow the broken hunk of metal to clatter to the ground. It wasn't clear.
Nein, Liebling.
Huh? Sounds like that was a false move. Signal's even worse now. Look, I'm not a blame layer.
He's right.
I'm gonna turn all the dials to maximum.
A maelstrom of sound, swirling and...
Nicht mehr derselbe ist.
Lieutenant Dubois.
It's too much. Your eardrums are throbbing, about to burst.
A long winter.
And then...
Try it now.
This is Warship Archer. We are acknowledging and accepting you. Though we're...
This is as good as it's gonna get. I'll keep us aligned as long as I...
There is so much you wish you could ask, but you probably only have time.
Please be advised that you are speaking on a public frequency. What is your request? A very important question, with a very simple beyond us. It may be said that we are the inheritors and stewards of Dolores Day's legacy, immeasurable. It includes interstellar travel, 3 scientific revolutions, humanism, internationalism, the welfare state. The role of the Moralist International is twofold: to buy humanity sufficient time to perfect itself, and to patiently guide it along the road while protecting it from ideological highwaymen and eschatologists. It was established by many of the same founding party members who elected Dolores Day, and who, after her assassination, dedicated their lives to the continuation of their political and intellectual...
The other members of the founding party moved to Sur-la-Clay and invented modern corporate finance. Their names may still be found on the pediments of some of the largest investment banks in the world.
The RCM exists under the umbrella of the Coalition, just as the Coalition exists at the same time. The RCM is not exactly of the Coalition. We are not that familiar with RCM lore and practice, but we believe that may be the case. As we recall, the decomptage originated with the Revacholian.
There is some truth to that.
But in a practical sense, it's the responsibility of the ethics divisions to ensure that both organizations.
The ethics division is the branch of the RCM that coordinates activities with the Coalition. It's composed of in other words, it's a fundamental part of the RCM. So you probably shouldn't ask her any questions about it.
I suppose I enjoy casework too much, but surely you have more interesting things to discuss with the colleague.
Lieutenant Dubois, was there anything else? It's an elegant idea, one of the cornerstones of the modern era. In short, it holds that durable, lasting peace is possible when the major powers are capable of inflicting unacceptable and irreversible destruction upon one another. Because no rational state is willing to accept the risk of such a calamity befalling its own people. All powers are incentivized to de-escalate conflicts before they reach the point of no return. A state is like any other living thing. It wants to survive and grow. A state that doesn't value its own existence is not a state. There are many. The communists say they are the next dialectical step in an inexorable spiral of progress. They claim to have resolved the inherent contradictions of moralism and believe they're just one revolution away. The fascists say they're both the ancestors of. And then there are our prodigal cousins, the Vazan Social Democrats, who hold our same values.
For some reason, it's the Social Democrats she sounds most exasperated with.
We don't resent them. It's more that we are disappointed that they have chosen to.
She speaks of them like a family member she's abandoned.
But of course, they also remain dependable partners in a number of centuries. Let us answer your question with a question. Have you ever seen evening fall over the old town of Vesperashit? The heart of the city, the old town, is a district composed of weather marble, comprising thousands of columns and arcades. But as the sun sets, the shadows cast by those columns and arcades weave together to form an intricate ombre lattice.
The name at Vesperashit means evening comes.
By thousands of people over many centuries, in keeping with the. Not only that, but you are also part of that centuries-long plan. When you cross one of the open plazas, your own shadows is effortlessly woven into the great lattice work. Yes, it is. We grew up there. We have seen the lattice with our own eyes. She was. There are even those who say that at Vesperashit summoned Dolores Day, or that it was built in preparation. That's why the old town is sometimes called the. Of course, such a city does not spring from nowhere, nor does it endure without effort. It's about 3,000 years.
She really had that on the tip of her tongue. It's like she has the timeline laid out right in front of her.
It does, doesn't it? And yet, there remains.
This is it. Final question time.
Is everything all right? We lost the connection for a moment. Acknowledged. To reach the committee, all you need to do is fill out the. If the liaison accepts your request, you will be invited to address the committee at their next quarterly public hearing. We believe the next hearing is scheduled for July. Not a problem. If this is a time-sensitive matter, they typically respond within a few weeks. We're afraid that is quite impossible, Lieutenant Dubois. We cannot transfer you to the committee because we are not entrusted with that responsibility. We are simply the second signal. That is the nature of the command pyramid, yes.
You're getting out tangled by the big bag. Time to try something else.
What part of need to reach the committee, doesn't she understand? Time to lay it all out. That's only because they haven't heard about your problems yet.
So, you're experiencing acute...
Oh God, here we go.
We're afraid we don't understand at all. What does this something have to do with your lost memory? We are sorry to hear of your loss, but personal tragedy is now. Please excuse us while we update the receiving frequency.
Quick, hang up on her first. And the there, you really showed her. Showed her. The lieutenant gives a long sigh.
I think it's best for you to climb off the statue now, Detective. Your real work is done here.
There's a damp cold running up the insides of your... You look around. The strikebreakers are still shouting their slogans and waving their hands. There's really no point. You're beginning to feel like...
About time. You grab that amp.
What's one more trip across the waterlock?
Alright, Copman. We've held up more than our share of this collaboration.
If you want to show your appreciation, we can still use hardcore mutual aid.
Sure, you have to say that now, but it's all... I'll put this tech away later. Think there's an extra can set, in case you want to grab a...
the 15th Indo tribe. He stands on the other real deck is empty. Cables run hither and thither. On one side you see...
Yeah! It was awesome! Too hardcore, in fact! I couldn't control... It sucks up all the air in the mix until it's the only thing left! Oh! I don't know! Maybe someone can do something with this! I imagine this is the sounds that the future could make! Yeah! Lungs are for love! When Dolores...
Why wouldn't they be? Are the lungs not the place where you hold the breath of yours?
I think so. Highly gaily. There's nothing... Isn't something... It's like... I think it's...
If anything, it sounds a bit...
Wow! I think you might be right. But how could it become hardcore? No! This is the what? God! Oh, yeah!
But you're not. This is almost certainly...
I know! So does... Uh-huh! Oh! Yeah!
That would be silly. Your body isn't for thinking. It's for robust, wholesome things. Things like...
Good morning! Yeah! Harder!
You know it in your lungs where the pressure should vibrate. In your heart that's a...
What? Wow, okay. We should start with the melody. But where would we get that stuff from? I'm sorry, I don't know anything about Nordic music. I'm just the party boy. I get the people going and say it's hardcore.
The young man falls silent with appreciation. He even tries to contain...
Basically, what you need to find here is a tape with some banging music.
Yeah, maybe that street talker across the pawn shop has got some tapes.
Anyway, that cop man! Tape! Yeah! Spins the tape until the... Aight! No! No, no! This is gonna make people scared! Keep it positive. Yeah!
The hawthorn tree on Rue de Saint-Gilles Lane. Bronze-colored ribbons of magnetic tape are caught in its branches, fluttering in the breeze. Patting the tree reveals a small sticker which has almost been worn to oblivion. It reads, "You tree hugging." The bronze ribbon twists around and within the branches in an intricately natural pattern. There's a twisted logic in this mess. You see the ends of the ribbon, the way it flows, how it twists and turns. It's all starting to make sense. With slow and deliberate motions, pulling, bending, and it curls up into a mess inside your pocket. If only you could find a way to respool it, so that you could hit. Maybe Roy from the pawn shop can...
What's the tape for? How? It's broken and unspooled. Do you think your new buddy knows how to fix it? You could also get it fixed at the pawn shop across the street. We shouldn't waste our time.
Good idea. He might have the tools.
Everything's still cool. Me?
This man probably comes from Sea Guy. Sometimes...
Very cool. I like... The shine on these sunglasses lasts a lifetime, officer. You keep coming back. That's good, officer. Keep browsing those clothes.
The speakers below are banged up and worthless. The sneakers triumph over them. They're the star of the show here.
Hello, hello. Let me know if I can help. You mean re-spool it? Yeah, I do, but I'm not some Mr. Fix-It. I'm a pawnbroker. If you want to pawn the tape, sure. Although it looks pretty... worthless. No, it's different. Those film tapes actually mean something to me. But, huh? What do you mean? Yes, what about it? Is it any good? The music, I mean. Man, you're really invested in this. Okay, I'll help you out. It's going to take a moment.
You take some time to look around the store. The play of visuals all around the pawn shop is mesmerizing. You know these visuals would look super cool in the church.
Yeah, I bet they would. All those lights in a massive a sanctuary filled with hand-picked positive photons. There would be no room for sadness in such... Yeah, man, no. I rather like this place happy too. You know, where I work.
There's no way to turn this around, I'm afraid.
Yeah, it was. Respooling isn't that difficult. Anyhow, it's yours now. Yeah, my pleasure. I'll do what I can for true passion projects. Just try not to use this tape for negative photon emissions.
Oh, it's you again. Are you looking for a... You mean the curse that I'm spared of because I live outside its immediate reach? I'm listening. Excuse me? A 2mm hole in reality?
I'm afraid it is, ma'am. Sona Lukanen killed the former lead programmer of Fortress Accident.
Sona is involved in this? So it's even worse than I thought. It's not...
She looks outside the window where daylight has filled the yard.
You mean considering the fact that the world is collapsing on my porch? In any case, thank you for stopping by. It's good to have an answer, even if I can't claim to understand it fully.
A gente foi aqui tipo numa tangente gigante aqui a fazer coisas, mas whatever. Finalmente vamos entregar isto, acho eu, e depois vamos continuar a história.
Good morning! Yeah! Hard yeah! Remix time! Tape go.
A hand on his ear. He listens.
Wow! Did you get this from Arno himself? Listen, I'm just going to show it. Wow! Here's that! The signs match perfectly! Now, if only we had the beat for the full assault, it would be unbelievably hyper!
What is this? It's good. How did you guys do that?
Yes, but what if Van Eyck based his remix on some forgotten local melody? Like a folk song?
And you just found the original piece that inspired him to create this jam. That would explain why it fits so well.
Nah, to me it sounds like classic Van Eyck. I don't think he needs any inspiration from folk songs. Maybe he lives in Martinez and just threw away part of his song because he thought it wasn't good enough?
I think it's just happenstance. Chaos in action. Contingencies of our limited existence. That and Egghead's fantastic talent.
Noid's right. Egghead's technical talent is the key. No, this is definitely part of the same song. Something cut from it. It fits too well.
Be how it may, if it fits, it fits! Bring up the...
What about the bass? Do you have any...
Yeah, I remember...
I think you might know the answer.
But how?
What about that compressor Andre was setting up to achieve some sort of parallel processing?
Don't be too hard on yourself if you don't figure it out.
But it could be hyper hardcore! Good morning! Yeah! Harder!
Bzz, 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 goes the track in the background. The young man bobs his head to the music, much as before.
Good morning! Yeah! Harder!
Bzz, bzz, bzz. The young man bobs his head.
Good morning! Yeah!
Sidechain the beat. Listen, you can use the compressor to select between which track it's compressing, either the auxiliary signal or the main input from the tape. The compressor controls the gain based on the level of the signal on the aux sidechain input.
Sidechaining it, you said?
Then he puts on his headphones and his eyes go wide, wider than they've ever gone on drugs. He starts jumping up and...
Hey, what did you do to Egghead, Cop Man? Did you break him?
Are you ready, pussy?
Noid straightens his back.
I was born ready, Egg.
The audio assault is glorious. The speed freak dances on the stage, intensely waving his hand in the air.
This is beauty! This is life!
What in the world is going on? The way melody and bass flow together, it's unnatural.
God damn it. This dance club idea might just work out.
DeLorean Church! The place to be!
This is it. This is a new era. The fabric of the world has been irrevocably altered. Holding the gun feels natural and satisfying. It's like an extension of your arm. It reminds you of the day you first held it, with fear and respect, hoping you don't have to use it. Sheathe your sidearm, officer. A serious law official, cop by the book, should know
What is it? The swallow, you mean? What about freight? No? Yes. And? I don't care. I don't care about crapnet. What?
She has not seen her, sire.
I brought them here. These are my machines. Please don't touch anything. Great.
Oh, hey man, it's good to see you. Goodbye. Oh, hey man, it's good to see you.
You close your eyes and vacate your skull, leaving your brain to wonder.
Total darkness. You sink down the... Here, it will begin. Who fucking cares? No, not good. Orgasme. Oh, don't worry. The music's still there. This is a pivotal moment. Nothing. Just the immaculate silence.
I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. Every vertebrae in your spine is an unformed skull ready to pop up and replace the old one. Like shark teeth. The one you're currently in has a little brain forming in it, waiting for its turn to rule the world. In the spinal cord!
From what I can see, it's about to bust a move.
Foolhardy! Do you even know what's happening on the surface? With your eyes still closed, the first thing you feel, all the way back in the pivoting darkness of your own torso, is warmth. You have become a triumph of rhythmoplastics, somewhere in a smelly wooden church on the coast of Revachol. The wounds from the war you waged on your body are healing, twist by twist. You have become a flawless interlocking mechanism, a flesh and bone approximation of the throb coming from the speaker setup of the one called Eggheads, entirely, rigidly, imbecile, without pity or fear.
Oh my god! No way!
With his reel-to-reel mixer blasting the anthem of a future that will never come, the young man observes your move. He throws a screwdriver and a bunch of drill chucks into the corner and explodes into dance. What he lacks in sharpness, he more than makes up for in violent enthusiasm. The young man immediately bounces up and down, then assumes the same dance pattern, embellishing it with some sort of... The young woman lifts her headphones up slightly.
Asil? Aren't you going to dance? No, recording.
The lead programmer throws the other young woman a knowing glance before turning her attention. She's still at her mainframe, pressing buttons, reading printouts, but she started bumping her head along to the music.
What's going on here? Delinquents.
This is clearly a Code 31 emergency. The lieutenant squeezes the bridge of
The code 31 emergency? Really?
The lieutenant crosses his arms.
What's happening? Good for you. Rock on then. What? Come on, hurry.
Who's the one in charge? You are.
Are you kidding me? Get my what on?
Sheesh, okay.
Okay, you psychopath. I see what you're doing there. It's jacked up footwork plus some... Is that...
Nah, it's not Ubi folk. It's hardcore.
Yeah, whatever.
Oh yeah? I did 15 years in the juvenile crime unit. I can do age inappropriate. Now, check this shit out.
The lieutenant begins to heel kick the church floor with such intensity, it's reasonable to fear he'll kick a hole right through it, causing the floor to crack and the pillars to collapse, bringing the church roof down on all of you. The dynamic motion of your flailing body is bordering.
Here we go again! Hardcore filthy! The sound above my head!
What now? The sound above your what?
Above my hair, man!
Okay, this is too imbecile. Excuse me.
You might be imagining it, but it feels like Egghead too.
Man! Now, man! Now imagine if we could do that, right? End of human development. Mission complete. All right!
You're absolutely beat. Muscles relaxed and feet like noodles underneath.
Goodbye, officer.
Hardcore.
Yo, man. What's on your mind?
Ok, isto afinal não foi um desperdício de tempo, isto foi provavelmente a melhor side quest que eu já fiz até este ponto. Isto foi muito bom. Aliás, eu queria estar com a pistola porque nunca se sabe.
The once bright mural towers above you, saying, Feld Electrical R&D. Tomorrow is just a whisper away. Even though you're sure you succeeded, all is quiet. There is no cold hand brushing against your forehead, no rustle in the reeds. The wind has died down. Trying to talk to the wind, the city, whatever you thought would happen, did not. And now, is trying to talk to the city something you've done before? Is it in your secret?
How do we? I was really hoping she'd be in the village. She's probably north of the village, and this place is a peninsula. We already scanned most of the outdoor areas on our wild cryptid hunt. And then there's the church. We've already searched that and can rule it out. I know it doesn't feel like progress. Anyway, we do it the old-fashioned way, sector by sector. Go over the whole peninsula, ask the locals, enter the places where we can enter first, like we did in the village. Then, if we're desperate, we can look where we can't enter. Bunkers, storm drainage, this place. I'm sure it won't come to that.
Walk the coast, the old boardwalk, the reeds. You can always come back here and talk to the wind again. Look where it already got you. An adventure awaits. An adventure on the windswept urban coast. The once bright mural towers up. Suddenly, there's a sigh, carried on the molecules around you, moving, flowing from high pressure to low pressure, like that of a woman emptying her lungs. In through the collapsed roof, flowing down a concrete staircase to the basement, sweeping away footprints in the dust on the stairs, and then the beach below the boardwalk.
She's down there.
Okay, why? Good, yes. Cold spells. So basically your hangover is telling you she's down there? So, how do we get in there? The doors were on the collapsed side of this building.
Finally, my time to shine.
Perhaps you can climb them. We are not climbing anything. I'm 43 years old, and I plan to live to see 70.
Old pipe peeks out from beneath the rotten board. A building like this must have multiple doors, serving various functions. Your eyes slowly begin to adjust to the darkness inside. The lieutenant looks over your shoulder. At first, you can't make anything out in the dark. As your eyes adjust, you see some trash, crumpled up newspapers, cigarette butts, and nothing. Broken glass from bottles thrown against the...
Given that this isn't a martial arts thriller, it's highly unlikely, and not without risk to our health. However, the pipe suggests there may be an entrance to the basement around...
He means the pipe must be coming from somewhere in the building.
And it's right here, a maintenance door.
It's jammed shut. The subtle approach isn't going to work on this one. Behind the pipe, the maintenance door. You and the lieutenant lean all your weight into pushing the doors apart, but you're not quite synchronized.
Let's take a breather and try this again later.
A rusty ladder leads to the rooftop.
Yeah, that doesn't look good at all.
The distances between the remaining rungs are rather wide. You'd have to use the mounting brackets. However, they seem correct. In addition, the first rung is going to be tough to reach. It's what, 3 meters above the ground, and you're 180? Not to mention that the roof is collapsing and the wind gets pretty brutal up there. Dismounting from the ladder is going to be hard. What if you were to do something more? What if you were to reconceptualize climbing the ladder?
Teleportation is not a thing.
Even if it isn't, no one told you.
Oh yes, it could hurt a lot.
All you need to do is close your eyes and concentrate. Darkness enfolds you. Zoot, zap, pow, crinkle. It's like magic.
Oh my god, I can't believe it.
Bam! You find yourself on the roof, having mastered the art of physical displacement.
I just saw you climb the ladder. You just climbed it like a regular person.
No, not like a regular person. The wind at the top of the building starts howling loudly, blowing away the lieutenant.
Never mind. Find a way to let me in when you get inside. Don't go adventuring with a backup, especially.
Two rusty metal plates that slide apart form a crude door. It's...
What do you mean, who's there? It's me, Kim. Stop playing around and help me get the door open.
The doors seem to be on rails, but they've gotten jammed. You grab a side and put some strength into prying it open. With the help of your partner.
Huh. I hope no one dangerous heard that. Yes. Time to investigate these passages. Let's move quietly and not make more sound.
Not running is a great way to do that. A mustachioed and mutton-chopped man, amateurishly depicted, gazes at you with sad eyes. A plaque years' worth of dust is shaken off. The full head of hair, matched by an ample moustache and sideburns, look a bit...
Some radical or radicals were hiding out here. They left a long time ago. We have found a lot of those lately. I guess what most people think of as history tends to linger in rundown neighborhoods. Martinez being what it is, no one has gone through the trouble.
Good hiding place for someone who's up to no good.
Half a century? This was probably part of... I think the purpose of this bunker was to produce propaganda. It would have had radio equipment back then, but that's all. I won't stand in your way, but only after we're through with this case. Millions of depictions of Mazov have been produced. They're not all connected. Besides, that looked like some student. The youths always go for... You mean like Ruby? No, I think we've stumbled on a piece of history.
A mustachioed and Could this have been the killer's hideout? And this narrow window, this does look like an embrasure. The lights of Martinez shine coolly in the clear night.
It's a great place to hide, and Mazovianism and murder are certainly not mutually exclusive. But there hasn't been anyone here in ages. Indeed, no one could get a clear view. Well, at least we've been thorough. In fact, I think we're done with this bunker.
There it is again, like a swarm of hornets buzzing under your scalp. A strange thing.
No, what do you mean? I don't feel it, but we should still be careful. There were footprints back there, and I'm pretty sure they were fresh. No, but you are the same.
It's not a quib. The situation is dangerous.
Looks like our suspect. If she's in here, we need to plan our next. Once we detain a credible suspect, who knows what the Union and the Wild Pines will do.
You will upset the balance of power in Martinez. The deadlock between this part of town is a fine clockwork puzzle. Disturb its peace. Keep calm. Go over the whole situation in detail.
I leave that to your judgment. You already know what I think about cross-pollinating information like this.
He just can't be sure. Maybe it will yield something useful.
Well, we are not responsible for what we can't predict, are we? I don't think the entire...
If you can't predict it, there's nothing you could have done.
I think I see a cavern. Maybe more cellars? I think we've been careful enough. We still have the...
I wouldn't be so sure. You haven't exactly been sneaking.
Or maybe not. Either way, once we go deeper, there will be no turning back.
Arno van Eyck.
You're back. Good. What can I...
She's not even asking you anything. It's so easy to just say.
Stupendous. I didn't think he'd pull through. That's beautiful.
Keeping her calm. Perfect posture.
A Villiers 9mm. Front-loaded? 2 or 3-barreled? Villiers and LaSalle was one of the original 14 Indo tribes of Revachol. Did you know? Artillery and ballistics. Before the revolution, of course, they belong to some Gottwalders now.
She phrases it as if it's a pity. She also phrases it as a transition out of you waving your gun.
What else? It helps to sometimes hold inventory of the things you've achieved, you know. Clear a referral, you mean? I take it this was for someone in the RCM. Don't answer.
My liege, this woman has half convinced herself already. All it would take is a little nudge.
Oh my.
The lieutenant does not say anything, but you hear the nylon of his jacket rustle as he looks at you.
That's good to hear, Detective. Police work is rarely...
Her bartering mind cannot fathom that you didn't ask anything in return.
Frankly, what was done was not pretty at all, but neither was it illegal. And I advise you to be very selective with what information you choose to share. This may have consequences beyond our line of sight.
How benevolent. Hopefully they'll help you sort this...
While we appreciate your assistance, ma'am, I'm afraid we can't discuss the specific...
That is only fair. Oh my. Very interesting.
Her mind races to the conclusion that most benefits her interests.
It looks like you may untie this knot yet. Naturally, Detective. There are lighter topics to gossip about. Sounds like he has you running errands, Detective. A well-established dominance ritual. Here? Oh, no. What does that bloat... No, don't tell me. I don't want to know what he has. A giant statue of him. Or better yet, his twin brother. Practically the same thing, but makes him seem less like a psychopath. A youth centre with Edgar Clare's statue on top of it. Go ahead. Help him. Make it so. I have no power to stop him. First, there won't be a youth centre. Whatever he has told you, or the residents, it'll be a fishery. I've been speaking with Lillian here. She gave me the idea. Sadly, it's just one of the million things I'll never get round to. Yes. I'm sad I'll never have the time, Detective.
She is more defensive.
Full of ghosts and ancient memories. Has this errand yielded you any information? A takeover? If they're taking it...
Green livery, changing into red, like a cancer of the blood.
Then we're talking about a war. Evrart needs to let me into the harbor at once. We need to talk about this. No. It's naive of me. He sent you. This, and if he does not avert his course, it will be a war negotiation, Detectives. An insane goal. Cronell has 1,000 men on their payroll. The next batch will be a platoon.
I've seen the Union's forces. They are better organized than these mercenaries. They also have the support of the... It will take more than Cronell to wipe them out. Wild Pines will need to send more and better equipped men. I am sure you have the money. The question is, how many years?
What do you suggest I...
Does it matter? Or has her mind been made up for quite a while now?
Everything affects the decision-making process,
Officer?
Of course. Your job is to clean up after them. What will I do?
Her arms fall to her side.
Did I ever tell you how they discovered this Isola? During our reality lowdown. It may be the only break we've ever caught as a species. The nations who colonized this Isola called theirs Muindi, the world. It was all they knew, all they thought would be. That there would be something more was a gamble, akin to another world. The Pale was thought to be impregnable, perpetual. Irene la Navigateur, the Queen of Suren, sent 8 expeditions, one after the other, into the mass at the edge of the world. 5 of the crews did not return.
Each of those expeditions would have been led by an admiral. Sounds like a purge. Like she was purging her political rivals.
There was no precedent for such an undertaking. People thought she was punishing the ad until after years of trial and error and the development of a strict psychological regime imitating the creation process of poetry.
Called Volta do Mar, or Return from the Sea.
The 8th expedition returned sane and intact. They told of a new continent of matter. They told the Queen and her counselor, Dolores Day, that the Pale had begun to condense, day after day, slowly raining down until it formed a vast...
The air is cold and scented with petrol.
The phenomenon has never again been encountered. For a time, the crew thought they were experiencing a hallucination, but they could not. They were sane and conscious. As islands began to appear on the horizon, there are 78,000 uninhabited islands in the Insulindian archipelago, officer. The freckled face of God.
You've thought it a million times.
A total shift in human comprehension of reality. On the second day, a great skua was shot down above the flagship Lizargique. The bird was preserved. 4 years later, the Queen's Counsellor was proclaimed Her Innocence Dolores Day, the elected world spirit. The age of humanism, internationalism, and parliamentary rule followed. We were high. On Caillou, the Pebble, the largest of the fertile, uninhabited islands of the northeast Insulindian archipelago. 4 centuries and 2 revolutions later, the first living, autonomous organism. Proof of reality. It's the symbol of Insulinde, detective. The coat of arms of the suzerain and the wings on the crest of the commune. In your defense, it is a nasty creature who plucks food from the throats of lesser birds. Yet much like Revachol, it is also magnificent and rare. Imagine the suzerain of seagulls. The nations of Mundi proceeded to discover 5 more Isolae. Or they discovered us. All in, but these others weren't uninhabited. We had to kill people there. Wipe out indigenous populations. Gunboat economies. Or they came to do the same for us. Or had done to each other. There was no one but the Skua, the Liliat Sea, and the Blood Beach, and the River Esperance. It was the new world. The Mondials used it to amass the greatest concentration of wealth mankind has ever seen. Revachol, revolution, poverty, and the mercurial rise of capital. It is.
The gangs will run wild, taking motor carriages, ferrying amphetamines through Coal City. Spring it.
I will surrender Terminal B to the Union.
She puts her hand in the rain.
We will see.
Ma'am, this may well unravel property law this side of the river. If that occurs, we may never see the end of this kind of confrontation. The next time there will be 2 strikes.
What happens will happen. The age of capital has only begun. I will talk to my employers in person. We will amputate and cauterize Martinez. If you handle the situation on the ground. Yes, Mr. Clare has a 2-month head start. I can't let it grow any bigger. And I've exhausted...
There are no employers. She's a member of the board. Probably a partner.
You are the citizens' militia. There are no superiors.
That's right, detective. And next time, you should confer with them before you go setting events in...
Events are already in motion. Whether your actions accelerated or momentarily retarded their progress, Even the lieutenant cannot really say.
I have not deceived you. I told you exactly who I was. Keep the peace, and I will...
How far along is Crenel?
A confrontation is imminent. They have followed in your footsteps. As your investigation reaches a climax, so does theirs. Protect their targets. Violence may be unavoidable, but we can limit the cap soon. I do not know precisely. They have cut off all communication. One last thing, Lieutenant Dubois. I've given the matter much thought and come to this conclusion. I know, because I too am insane. I just hide my illness better. And I'm rich. No, detective. No one's as insane as...
Don't worry, madame. I am very sane.
I'm overexposed, baby. My travels take me through the Pale dozens of times a year. I've got the longing. And I've got it bad. The same strict psychological regimen the 8th Admiral developed when he crossed the Pale and discovered this Isola. The Volta do Mar. It's used by inter-Easlary travelers.
You could use a little of it yourself.
Watch out for yourselves. They will strike soon.
The lieutenant watches her boat grow. You wonder what Everard has. Slowly, the sails turn grey-blue as...
Aye, the sea's gonna calm down soon. I can feel it.
Suddenly, your entire body is paralyzed. Aggressive white noise fills your skull. A strange pain, like you've never... It's like 1,000 radio stations are being blasted into your head all at once.
I know you're feeling pretty uncomfortable right now. Don't move too much or fight it. That'll just make it worse. Can't say it's a pleasure, officer. I was really hoping not to make your acquaintance. But Here we are.
As she says the word officer, you feel a spike in the agony. It sounds like the entire radio frequency range is screaming directly into your... No, buddy, that's not going to help. You can't shield yourself from this. It's an entirely new type of experience. Way worse than all the previous ones.
No, I'm not going to fucking kill you. If that had been my plan, you'd be dead already. I'm using a pale latitude compressor. You and your partner have been...
The explosion of static you're hearing. It's the ULAN blasted from that pale emitter that Angus mentioned.
Saw my equations? You've been sniffing through my lorry, right? I expected as much. I am a bit surprised. A pale latitude compressor is used to sort of make the pale more manageable. With a lot of these, you can force a radio signal. Signals are relayed across a series of repeater stations fixed to buoys. Not a fun job manning those stations. All alone out there in the pale, people lose their minds and...
So, what we are experiencing is because...
Precisely. This is an industrial strength paraboloid. It's meant for forcing dimensions on something that doesn't have them. Needless to say, at the upper limit is the large prime number generator station. It's used specifically for pale latitude compression. That's why you may be hearing some numbers. But you might also hear, or think you're hearing...
She likes telling you about the machine. Keep her talking. Look for an opportunity to break loose.
I built it myself.
And she's proud of it too. As she ought to be.
That's illegal. I'm guessing it's patented. But...
Oh yeah. Way beyond. No. Once I shut down the compressor, the pain will end. It may take a few minutes for you to steady yourself, though. It's a bit... Yeah, I stuck my head in there before using it on you. It seemed like the ethical thing to do. Can't say that I enjoyed it. The field was weaker, but I can imagine what you're going through. Yeah, let's not talk about that shit. You were hunting me and fell into my trap and...
So she thinks of you as hunters, not cops, and of herself merely as prey.
If you've got something really important to say, you can do it through the white noise.
Turn this...
God damn it. Fine. If you really want to talk, I can dial it down. I've also got a gun, by the way.
The gun she's carrying is a two-barreled front loader. Not well. It doesn't feel much better, but you can form sentences now. There's only 3 meters between you and the machine. If you keep her distracted for long enough, maybe.
No, I didn't do it. I only helped stage the lynching. Who ratted me out, by the way? Was it Titus? No, he wouldn't have broken first. Oh, I knew the kitten had claws, but she couldn't have known I was on the coast. How did you find me? Took some convincing my ass. And those guys liked me, I know it. This is what happens to... How the fuck do the rest of you get by? Like what? I already told you
A strong moral compass. She still wants the opportunity to make a case for herself.
I didn't like him. Hardened mercenaries aren't particularly likable types. Yeah, sure. And I didn't like Wild Pines sending in those foreign hirelings.
I hate to be the bearer of bad tidings, but I don't think she's perjuring herself.
Plenty of broken people who don't come with that kind of body count. Besides, they're paid well. I'm listening. Man, I was with the boys the whole night. I hope they at least bothered to impress that upon me. You mean the length of a toilet break? That wouldn't even have been enough time. Wow, now I'm curious. Please, explain. Don't know it, but also...
Evaluating your competence as...
The shot couldn't have come from the roof. Or we would have...
She has a point there. No one mentioned.
And? Sure don't.
A breech loader?
No.
This is such a wipeout.
No, they're not practical. Break too often. Yeah, evidence. Who doesn't? Oh, you probably mean Claudia's rooftop. Sure, I've hung out there. She's got this great antenna. It's very powerful. I used it to tune into RCM frequencies. The view's pretty bomb, too. But you might say the antenna was the main attraction there, yeah. Yes, I'm sure. And anyway, as I said before, the shot had to have come from afar. No. Gifts of flowers and candy aren't really my style. So now I'm leaving revolutionary symbols around? Come on. I never did understand why, when someone dies, a hothouse's worth of flowers has to die too. No, I did not. So, Heart of Gold Tommy fucked me over too.
Maybe twist the knife, just in case. Make her more desperate.
Okay, great. You got into my lorry on your own. What now? You're going to arrest me for drug trafficking? Man, it's to get away from all that murderous shit that I left jam-
She deliberately avoided naming the mob she worked for. You might be able to find...
I got lucky being a dispatcher. Never had to do any of the really dirty work myself. This gun has only been used for self-defense against serious scum. Based on what I've heard about you, you are serious scum. Yeah? Where? I heard you in the passages, and I've been preparing for quite a while. So you found my shack, huh? I'm not surprised. So nice. That's one knife I didn't want to find.
As opposed to the other knives she's finding there now. Hardy for one.
This could have turned out pretty bad for me if you hadn't walked right into 25 bands.
That's her admitting the bullet was an emergency exit.
How should I know? As I keep saying, he already had a bullet in his head.
Those rings around her eyes. Her tired voice.
Police radio?
Who hasn't? You know, I can still see him there. He was still warm, but the bluish light coming through the broken window made him look as though he'd been dead for a good long while.
She eyes you warily, as though gauging your sincerity.
It's okay. We just want to...
All right, don't kill yourself over it. I was shooting the shit with Hardy and the boys over a few beers, like always. Then Klasia comes in. She sits down with a drink, trying to steady her nerves. So I grab a seat next to her. Oh yeah, super. But I didn't think too much of it at first. I'd seen her party hard before. No, I really didn't. She's not that easy to read. I just assumed she'd done too much blow. It wouldn't be a first for her. But no such luck. She was in some deep shit. She asked me to come upstairs. The merc she'd been going with was lying on the bedroom floor, dead. I knew she couldn't get the authorities involved, so yeah.
You made it look like he'd been hanged.
What? No. Faking a lynching was her. Yeah, in cold blood. It really surprised me how quickly she was able to get a hold of herself once we got up there. It was like she was another person. The party girl was gone.
You can see it. Her lips, though still white, don't seem to tremble as much anymore. She moved.
She asked me to help her drag him into the shower so she could wind the shower head around his neck to fake lividity. Then she dressed him while I went to get the Hardy Boys.
She lied to you about that, too.
Yeah, I wasn't sure whether to admire her. As I keep telling you cops, we didn't hear anything downstairs.
But even if this is true, weren't you worried?
War? The thought crossed my mind. But the mercenary's death was going to have repercussions either way. Although the way things are going...
She doesn't want to talk about this, but not because she has something to hide. She doesn't want the guilt.
Fuck it. I'm not responsible for these people after what they did to me. I saw you roll into town. I wasn't about to stick around for questioning by a goddamn La Puta Madre agent.
So this is what she was scared to tell Titus. This cop.
Yes, you. Everyone says you're his peon, his human can opener.
Through the sudden sharp pain in your head, you hear the fucking hell. And why me? You hear through the white noise. It's especially bad suddenly. Felt like a vein exploded.
Oh yes, they do. The cops, the criminals. Why do you think I'm holed up in...
If she knows that about you, she must know your real name too.
Harry Dubois. One corrupt motherfucker with the disco pants and a funny tie. Agent to La Puta Madre.
All of this just means that you're effective. Criminals know you and are scared of you.
Is that a joke or a threat? I'm guessing both. Yeah, sure.
She doesn't believe you.
I'm sure La Puta Madre himself will explain it all to you soon enough. You've been to my lorry. You think the biggest player in Jamrock appreciates competition? And now I have Harry Can opener.
Wait, one thing. Possibly small, but she said you rolled into town. Was that you singular or plural? She might know something.
Yeah, you had your death squad with you. What happened to them anyway? Well, it wasn't this scrawny dude. You had two guys and a lady. The guys looked pretty buff. Lady wasn't bad either. One of the guys seemed chipper, a blonde. The other had a brooding something or other about him. And the woman was the only one in uniform. All were carrying. That sound about right?
No idea who these people are, literally.
Well, this has been a great talk, really.
She means it. You better make your move soon.
What bunker? Don't know anything about it. No one's been around since I set up camp. But I'm sure I'm not the first vagabond to... to have been of assistance.
The woman runs past you and disappears into the darkness of the tunnel.
All things considered, it could have gone worse. No, I don't think she did it. She's someone else's case now.
It's too late now, anyway.
Now we have to come up with a really good excuse for why we walked right into a trap her tent. Maybe...
Ok. Queria só ver o que é que acontece, mas tipo... Isto provavelmente não vai funcionar, mas... Gonna try it.
Suddenly, your entire body is paralyzed.
Ok.
It's like 1,000 rays.
I know you're feeling pretty uncomfortable right now. Can't say it's a pleasure, officer. I was really hoping not to make your acquaintance.
As she says the word officer, you... That's an awful decision. Why would you not want to shield yourself from it? It's an entirely new type of explosion.
No, I'm not going. I'm using a pale...
The explosion blasted from that pale emitter that Angus mentioned.
Wow, check out the big brains on you. A pale latitude signals are relayed across a series... So, precisely. At the upper limit...
She likes telling you about the machine.
I built it myself.
And she's proud of it too.
That's illegal.
Oh yeah. Way beyond. No. Once I shut down the Yeah, I stuck my head in there before using... Yeah, let's not...
So she thinks of you as hunters, not cops. And of...
If you've got something really important to say... God damn it, fine.
The gun she's carrying is well, it doesn't... There's only 3 meters between you and the machine. If you keep...
I heard you in the passages, and I've been preparing for quite a while. So you found my shack, huh? So nice.
As opposed to the other night.
This could have turned out pretty bad for me if you hadn't...
That's her admitting the bullet was an emergency.
No, I didn't. Who ratted me out, by the way? Oh. But she couldn't have known I was on the coast. How did you find me? Oh, fuck. How the fuck did the rest of you get by? Like what?
A strong moral compass. She still wants the opportunity to make a case for herself.
I didn't like him. Hardened mercenaries aren't particularly plenty of broken people. Yeah, sure.
I hate to be the bearer of bad tidings, but I don't...
I'm listening. Man, I was with the boys the whole night. Yeah, and I'm sure they also made some funny remarks about it. They all... Can't do either without some power of mind of... Wow. Now I'm curious. Please, explain. Don't know it, but also...
Evaluating your competence.
The shot couldn't have come from the roof.
She has a point there. No one mentioned.
And? Sure don't.
The breech loader?
No.
This is such a wipeout.
No, they're not practical. The gun store. Trigger-happy jacks. What did you think? That I'm going to squeal on my gun supplier? Sorry, I'm not that kind of gal. Yeah, evidence. Who doesn't? Oh, you probably mean Claudia's rooftop. Sure, I've hung out there. She's got this great... The view's pretty bomb, too. It's very powerful. Yes, I'm sure. And anyway, as I said before, no. Gifts of flowers, and so now I'm leaving revolutionary symbols around? Come, I never did understand. No, I did not. So...
Maybe twist the knife, just in case. Make her more desperate.
Yeah, that figures. What now?
She's more upset than she lets on.
man, it's to get away from all that.
She deliberately avoided naming.
I got lucky being a dispatcher. Never had to do any of the really dirty work myself. This based on what I've heard about you. You are serious scum. Yeah? Where? How should I know? As I keep saying...
Those rings around her...
Police radio?
Who hasn't? He was still warm, but the bluish light coming through the broken window made him look as though he'd been...
She eyes you.
It's okay.
All right, don't kill yourself over it. She sits down with a drink, trying to steady her nerves. So I grab a seat next... Oh yeah, super. But no, I really... She asked me to come upstairs.
You made it look like he'd been hanged.
What? No. Yeah, in cold...
You can see it.
She asked me to...
She lied to you about that, too.
Yeah. I wasn't sure whether to admire her. As I keep telling you cops, we didn't hear anything.
But even if this is true...
War?
She doesn't want to talk about this, but not...
Fuck it. I'm not responsible for these people. I saw you roll into town.
So this is what she was scared to tell Titus.
Yes. You. Everyone says you're his people.
Through the sudden shock. Fucking hell. And why it's especially bad suddenly. Felt like a vein exploded.
Oh, yes, they do. The cops, the criminals.
If she knows that about you, she must know you.
Harry Dubois.
All of this just means that you're effective.
Is that a joke or a threat? I'm guessing both. Yeah, sure.
She doesn't.
I'm sure La Puta Madre himself will explain it all to you soon enough. You've been to my lorry.
Wait, one thing. Possibly small, but she said you rolled into town. Was that...
Yeah, you had your death squad with you. What happened to them? Well, it wasn't this scrawny dude. You had... One of the guys seemed chipper. That sound about right?
No idea who these people are. Literally.
Well, this has been a great time.
She means it. You better make your move soon.
What bunker? Don't know anything about it. No one's been around since I set up camp. And I'm sure I'm not the...
Keep calm. Breathe in. After the pain recedes, it's a little clearer. You did it. The compressor lies broken on its side. It's quiet in your head again. It still hurts like...
All good, officer. Be careful.
She looks at the machine, assessing...
Oh, fuck it. Problem solving.
Ma'am, put the gun down.
Oh, yes it is.
She's truly desperate. She thinks she has... You know. This is how you talk her out of it. It's the only scenario in which she lives. She stares at you, frozen, the gun still in her mouth. Her neck and shoulders relax, and her grip on the gun loosens.
Day of miracles. I'll take it.
She runs past you, then past the lieutenant, and disappears into the darkness of the tunnel.
Good call. Yeah, I'm sure. I would have done the same had I not been incapacitated. I have a feeling we didn't. Her tent. We should check it out.
Ok. Pelos vistos só há estas opções que é morte ou ela foge.
The plain red tent stands by. It was pitched by practiced hands. She's used. The tent looks old, but well maintained. In the darkness of the tent, a rolled up sleeping. It reeks of cigarettes. Assorted soft covers, mostly pulp horror. A motor carriage lies buried in the snow.
See anything?
Rager Monthly, Journal of Material Science. More Technological Digest. One of the magazines doesn't have images on the cover. It's not. You pocket the worn brown leather.
We should read this immediately. Like.
A thick journal. The cover is worn like someone used to carry it around in their back. It's made of full grain leather. The lower left corner of the back cover sports an embossed brand. Schneller is a stationery brand from Gottwald. Beloved, she's got good taste and must have taken whatever she recorded here seriously. The journal falls open. About 2/3 of its ruled pages have been filled. The large cursive of someone who writes quickly and confidently. Perhaps too confidently. Many phrases and even paragraphs have been crossed out, with tiny corrections scrawled above and in the margins. It's a mix of logistical notes, diagrams.
It's good she left in a hurry. We could learn a lot from this.
Hard to tell exactly. It's mostly noted down in code.
There could be useful information about local operations in those notes. We have a junior sergeant at my station who's good with codes. I can give this to her after we finish this.
Esoteric radio technology. The most recent ones probably pertain to the latitude compressor, sketches, calculations of distance and density. You make out a familiar spiral shape. Short, wry observations of people and places, probably a way to pass the time on the road. Also, what appears to be attempts to sort through some difficult decision, the way some of those question marks trail off into ellipsis. She was going through a tough time. The first entry is from August 2nd of last year. It reads simply, I know my position is precarious. All I can do is make myself as useful as I can while looking for a way out. Remember, no one is indispensable. Nothing on March 4th. March 5th, though, well, that's bound to come back and bite me in the ass. I'm bad at this. Loyal to a fault. Except, but that she is referring to betraying her previous employer. Does this suggest she did it in self-defense? That name isn't mentioned. Small wonder. Would you talk about La Puta Madre in your journal? You do see an M, though. La Puta Madre. M is mentioned on March 9th and March 15th. Great. M's peon is coming to town, no doubt to investigate the lynching. But also, I feel it in my gut to finally put a bullet in my head while I'm napping in my lorry or on a smoke break. Well, I won't stick around just to twist my own neck by constantly looking over my shoulder. Then again, Isn't that what I've been doing ever since I got the call? The call? Did M call her personally? Why? Been holed up here for 3 days now. I'm used to being alone and all, but I don't know when I'll be able to leave, or if I'll be ratted out. They will rat me out, of course. I've made it a point to believe in the... Did M feel truly betrayed by me? I was feeling threatened. He'd have to know if he threatened people, they'd take measures to protect themselves. Even I know that. The entry ends abruptly. The most recent entry is from today. It reads, even when I leave here, if I leave here alive, what's my next move? Staging a lynching is a crime, even if I'm not accused of murder on top of that. Forever on the run. Not really my idea of the open road.
It looks like she might have been framed. I wouldn't go so far as to say that. We have other reasons to arrest her. Besides, I'm not sure her life as a fugitive is going to be much better than we does. Especially if she has problems with the Madre. No, I don't think you are. Ask someone in your precinct if you want to be sure.
He truly does not believe you are. Perhaps he shouldn't be so trusting.
Could have been Titus. Then again... Either way, we need to keep an eye on him. Somewhere along the way, we might... One thing is for certain. We have business back in the whirling and rags. Questions to ask.
A metal payphone under a yellow plastic dome. There's a bitter, caustic taste. The cold metal is hot.
That's enough now, officer.
It didn't give you...
Officer, that's enough.
It's over. A metal payphone under a yellow plastic dome. There's a bit... The old woman's. The buzz of electric lights blends. There's a gap where the name of that song should be. You should ask her about it.
Yes, I can't really sleep anymore. Only a few hours a night. My suggestion is don't. Don't grow any older than you already are. That's old enough. A lullaby my mother used to sing. I sang it to my kids too. It's an old Samaran children's song. Surrender to the night.
That's kind of grim for a children's song, even if it is a lullaby.
Yes, it does. A lullaby my mother, like I said, is an old children's song.
Aye, the sea's gonna calm down soon. I can feel it. The wind is turning.
Rust peels off the bent iron posts of the swing. The wind whistles through the skeleton.
In this yard?
He's assessing the situation.
Someone thought they could have a summer house in a bloc obscur for cheap. It didn't work out. They abandoned it about a decade ago. A black bloc. A part of the city left unrenovated after the war. Or one that has fallen to gang violence.
On aerial photos, bloc obscurs look like dark squares.
Practically, it's not an official term in any way, but look around. No sewage, broken power lines. Yes, for you to pick up as part of the Jamrock shuffle.
It's not meant as nagging.
We should move. I don't think our suspect is in this particular yard.
Stop. Now. It is crisis. Death. You could be prepared. Make sure you have your pepper box in your fingers reflexively reach for the Villiers 9mm pistol in your pockets.
Then you'd better get ready. Whatever happens, I've got your...
I'm all out of shits to give, loincloth. Welcome to the fucking reckoning.
Put your damn gun down. People are gonna get hurt.
Shut up! You're not gonna talk yourself out of this, loincloth shit.
This is the mercenary at the gates. His chest rises and falls under the ceramic breastplate.
Shh.
This is a misunderstanding. Nothing irreversible has happened yet. You can just return to your unit and forget all about this.
The Kipt is merciful, willing to spare us if we just forget about our murdered and humiliated commander. I think we should just kill everyone.
You are all drunk. Come to your senses. You won't gun down 7 people in the middle of the street?
Easy, Lizzie. Let me handle it. I know God.
Peaceful.
Nest in your abdominal cavity like a little wild mouse. The masked man's words are...
Fuck, there's a third one. How did we miss something like this?
This third one, he is the most dangerous of them all, heavily armed.
The Mercenary Tribunal. My plan is not to get killed, but we have to intervene. If this turns into a firefight, we should take him out.
A sound strategy. He's the leader.
Get lost, comedian. You cops had your chance. Now it's fucking time for some justice.
Pig fuck!
Oh, people are gonna die today. We're not leaving it like this. These tribals hung him up for everyone to see.
No one is going to kill anyone. Let's just put the guns down and talk like civilized...
She doesn't seem to understand the severity of the sniff. The wordless gurgle. The killer loads the leader, gives a small nod to the helmeted man. Suddenly, the grip of your sidearm feels comforting and warm. Shoot him in the mouth. Shoot him before he shoots you. No, wait. It's good you have that gun. It really is. Just soften him up first. I'm barely keeping you together here. This is it, the big one. If you talk to him, he will rattle you, not the other way around.
Rude. Rude is the killer. Rude, the killer. Hoe and Clue.
All of you cunts inside out. Rip you open.
Perhaps it's for the best. Him not talking.
The gunner, the raddest, the killer. What do you think he done?
There, on the rim of Owen Clerven's helmet, you count little stick figures. 19, 20, 21. About 50 little stick figures. All of them black. Plus 2 These men served in Seminai. The 2 little white figures in the end are from when they moved to Revachol. They're recent.
That's right. Plenty.
T, let's fucking do it.
Gene. Yeah? Who did that? How fucking convenient.
His fingers are twitching. That's a draw reflex. He's about to draw.
You think I'm fucking stupid, cop? What if I just shot one of your... How about the kid? Tell me. It's a magic fucking sniper.
Listen, please. This cop and this drumhead court marshal won't decide who...
The Hardy Boys confessed to hanging him, all together. Titus said we took him out back and hanged him. He said it loud, in a public place.
You're lying. DePaul heard it.
A Kiel Model 40 revolver, 8 rounds in the barrel. The gun slowly...
You heard wrong. She and these men have been helping us find the shooter.
The shot rings in your ears. A low the young woman stands and looks behind her. The shot has flown over.
I missed.
Not true. He purposefully over-aimed and shot the window. You had him second-guessing himself, only for a second.
I know what I heard, Corty. They said they killed him. They said...
That doesn't sound good. You need to change the topic now, or there will be another shot. All right, here we go. This is an illegal tribunal. Cranor would never sanction this. Who's the I have some trivia, too. Get him. You only have time for one argument. Choose wisely.
What always happens when you get good at your job? That name meant night raids. Fucking extra. The same thing happened when we were called whatever the fuck it was. Probably won't be called. Not after this.
Okay, it's not much, but he's thinking about something else, and his hand is off the gun. This did something.
Yes. So what? Nah. I'm clear as day.
Enough already! What is this? We didn't come here!
Interrupt me again and I will execute you on the spot, Lance Corporal. You think I care what that company cunt thinks?
The man stares at you with bloodshot eyes. Now is not a good time to strike. He's looking right at your hands. Do something else. Get him distracted.
Fucking waste this fuck!
Who the fuck is that?
Glacia, the woman upstairs. Where is she?
She left!
Unarmed, hunched, but keeping it together.
She left! Her room's cleaned out! Right before these assholes showed up!
We should have arrested her.
Hey, Bushman! Your little cunt isn't gonna help you out of this one!
A plume of smoke and fire erupts from the gun, and your hand goes numb from the explosion. There is a hole in his cheek. Blood gushes out as his lips, moving, swollen with fear, are trying to say, shoot him, but he can't. To your right, the killer raises his rifle and takes aim at you. His an Easter AR-FA-7, built for taking out light armored vehicles. It will devastate you. You leap left. A swarm of angry lead passes mere millimeters from your side, tearing fabric off your coat. Feels like the lightest of tucks. The man tilts his head, trying to see through the cliff. Watch out! To your left, DePaul is about to take a shot.
God, please.
He's aiming for the eye slot in Rude's helmet. 2 shots ring at once. One from the lieutenant's pistol, and the other from DePaul's. It's aimed at the lieutenant, but it misses. You hear a scream behind you. Blood gushes from the helmet's eye sockets as Rude staggers back, disoriented. An unbelievable shot from the Glen, dying in a puddle of blood behind you. His mangled torso, you see 2 crazed eyes stare at you through all the smoke and the panic. With blood gushing from his face, the man raises his pistol at you. The look of vengeance, framed in blood. Here it comes. Death. You can't. There is no time. Something inside your pelvis. The pain is too immense to scream. It pushes the air out. Nothing. A persisting darkness. Dancing lights of pain.
You're bleeding out. Stay with me. Yes, keep talking. You hear me?
But you can't. It's so hard. A slender white shadow towering. Someone stands there, raising her pistol at him. Scream immediately. He's gonna die. Shoot. Dead. You hear your bloody lips mumble. You try to give him your gun so he'd understand. But he does not. He just shakes his head, still crouched like a pillow. He falls on you, cold nylon and blood.
This is death. One more door, baby. One more door.
Kim, there is no...
Have mercy on yourself.
He's not taking it. His body is not taking it. Oh God, no. And rotting. And being disinfected. And
there is a radio in the distance. A radio of the world.
hours turn to days.
The engine of a Caprice.
No, it was him. He is the infernal engine. Can't you see? He never...
You see Kuno's familiar shape in the found pants. It turns double, then triple. From
Coinslot's dead?
You can barely hear him. The pain is so bad.
Kuno just told you your friend is dead, and you're crying about pain. That doesn't seem right to Kuno. The Beano clad was alright. He didn't Nah, Kuno's just lying to you. The fucking boo-boo wagon took 4 hours away. He's probably gonna live. To the hospital, fucktard. Try to keep up with Kuno. They say you shot that fucker in the face. That's fucking cool to Kuno. So I thought I'd stick around.
He's saying I now, and not calling you a or a pig. Is he ill or something?
Nah, Kuno's just off speed for a few days. Being off speed makes Kuno sad. Makes Kuno think about shit. Sure, Kuno's gonna help you with that. Kuno's in a given mood right now. You tore some shit up there, pig. Got shot too. How would Kuno know? Kuno's not a fucking doctor. Pretty fucking bad, Kuno thinks. But you're one lucky pig. The doc took the bullet out and said you'll live. Are your legs attached to Kuno? Can the Kuno move your legs?
You won't be able to dance much, that's for sure. You should be able to live with limping around, though, if you can call that a life.
You keep asking all this weird shit from Kuno that the Kuno has no way of knowing about. Kuno did?
He didn't.
Yeah, some cunt from your station came over and knife fucked you when you were sleeping. Nick's fuck leave, I think he was called. Said he was a doctor, then fucked off and told me to phone him if you shit yourself.
If he did triage and left, he must be relatively stable.
Why, in the name of fuck, would Kuno be it? Kuno's fucking smart. Kuno wasn't in that fuck pile. Kuno knows when shit goes south. Go easy, pig. You wanna...
Ouch. Ouch. The kid turns double for a second. Damn, that hurts. Breathe.
Oi, mozão. Eu pensei que o jogo ia acabar. E estava mesmo no fim, estava a tentar acabar, mas afinal não. Eu vou parar agora.
You feel like you're about to fall over.
Tipo, eu pensei mesmo que o jogo ia acabar, que o meu personagem ia morrer, mas pelos vistos não. Sobrevivemos.
Yeah, you got lucky there, pig. Maybe now Kuno can show you what real, brutal heart...
Still, you see something akin to respect in his eyes.
Babybeard was in here. Was probably a bitch to clean this shit up.
Babybeard. That can only be...
Yeah, fucking Babybeard. Cleaned all your shit up. He's like your fucking mum now or something. 2 days? Kuno's been out longer sleeping off the speed train. 2 days is nothing to the Kuno. Some of those Union goons got fucked. Now the whole harbour is in lockdown. Even Kuno...
Everard probably used this armed altercation as an excuse to completely barricade himself in the harbour and cut off all communications with the outside world.
Yeah, she's way gone pig. Kuno's been here for 2 days, and Babybeard and you are the only fucks in the building. The big fuckhole. Yeah, he's drinking downstairs. Kuno's not into that. Yeah, that's what Kuno said. No one goes in or out. Shit's paranoid now. No problem. Kuno shares the info. The fuck you asking Kuno for? How would Kuno know? Kuno's fucking 12. Oh, really? You can't get to that fat fuck Everard anymore, because the harbour's locked down. Half the hardy bitches are dead, and your company bitch sailed off.
He's really been keeping tabs on you. The Hardys.
Kuno thinks you're fucked, but I can help you. What you got? Bounce that shit.
Again, something in him is shifting, changing.
Huh? That could have been there for years. Kuno thinks it's a dead end. You want Kuno to be a yes man? Or you want me to tell it like it is? Walls are full of holes here, pig. Even Kuno knows.
There is no telling when it was made. He had a point there.
There are fucking footprints everywhere, pig. Pigs are too into this footprint shit. Kuno just saw footprints outside on the sidewalk. Yeah, what? What bells? Fuck, pig. Kuno doesn't know about this flower shit.
He's wrong. What does he even know?
Sure, pig, sure. You better have more than some fucking roses if you want to bust this. Yeah, that sounds real to Kuno. Forensic shit, true crime shit. Let's check out some crime scenes and assess shit. Pig style. Anything else? Miracle. Shit. What is this weak shit? You gotta watch your own back. Miracles don't fucking happen in matinees. Shit ain't nothing to Kuno. What now? Will Pig, you ready to walk, Will Pig? So, listen, Pig. Kuno's been thinking about shit and, Kuno's coming with you. Help you wrap this shit up. Final style. Final style. You fucked everything up. Now Kuno's all you got. Terminal Kuno. This scene is dead. Kuno's out of here. Might as well be a pig. Big up fucky fingers on me way.
Big up fucky fingers. He is. A kid would make a half-decent sharpshooter. He is streetwise. Knows the neighborhood. Knows the people. He could be useful.
Accepted the Kuno like a motherfucker. What are we gonna do now? Yeah, debrief Kuno. Let Kuno know the plan.
You did mention doing more ballistics.
That's Cliche, right? Bitch next door. Kuno's thinking the same thing. Let's rock it.
Que caralho, ok. Eu tenho de verificar se quero gravar isto. Mas eu acho que não quero. A gente vai dar o load aqui e amanhã continuamos. Que puta, meu. Este jogo é intenso. Jesus Christ. Vamos tentar aqui outra vez depois amanhã, que há aqui umas coisas estranhas. afinal o jogo ainda nem acabou e ainda temos algumas coisas por fazer. Bom, thank you for watching. Amanhã há mais. Bye bye. Até logo.